Rod, you must have some stories, 35 years in reining. Can you think of any?
Some stories. Yeah, probably most of them I can't share.
Any good ones you can share?
Yeah, I always remember our road trips on the road to the southern states for major events, and we would often set off in convoy, friends and associates and such, and there was always the weird things that would happen along the route. I do remember one time we had a mate that was travelling along, and well, actually I'll go back a step. We had a friend that lost a tyre on her horse float on one occasion, and then went and lost another tyre on a horse float, and she didn't realise that all that was going on. So a friend of ours said, how the heck could that ever happen? You know, how ridiculous, you know. So we're heading down, I think we were down around Dubbo or somewhere, you know, some 800 kilometres from home, and one of the guys travelling in the convoy had radiator problems, heating problems, and so long story short, we decided we'd throw the horses in our truck, and his horses that is, and we'd go on to the next camp up, and he would wait there for assistance to come and help him with his heating problems. So that was all very good. We were an hour or two in front of him, and we get a phone call from him late.
Watching this bug call up, yeah, better go.
Sure, matey. We head off, and we're a couple of hours ahead of him, and we're actually pulled up at our next camp and set up, and we get a phone call from him, and he's rings to tell us I'm on the road, fueling up, and as he's doing this, he's walking around his horse float or horse gooseneck, and he said, "Oh God, what's going on?" we say, and he says, "I've lost a tyre."
And this is the same guy that couldn't believe the other lady was losing her tyres.
Yes, and he didn't know when he lost it, and he didn't know how many kilometres, so he limped for the next 100 odd kilometres on three wheels.
And did you find it on your way to meet him?
No, that was never to be seen again. We had some work to do next morning before we set trail again.
So you had to swallow a little bit of humble pie there.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah. And they're just an example. That was always a big part of the running experience, was that fellowship and fun that we would enjoy with all our folk heading off.
Yeah. It is, we've done a few miles getting up to Maryborough from Victoria as well, and it's been, it's memories we're creating no matter what happens on the trip. You know, you break down, you get stuck on hills, you can't get up, and tractors have to drag you out. You lose your tow bars, you know. Rod's been fantastic helping us. Can't say enough about the Calliopes and the assistance they've given us in our time of need as we've come up, and John Wicks as well. So, but they're the memories you're creating no matter what happens, isn't it?
That's the book of memories, and they can't be taken away from you. So, we're very fortunate to have had such a large book now of memories with the 35 odd years that we've been involved in the sport. So, we're pretty grateful.
A good friend of mine passed away recently, and at his funeral they read out a poem called The Dash. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
So the dash is about, the date that you started your life, then there's the dash, and then the date that you ended your life. And the dash is about your whole life in between your birth and your death. And it's how you live that dash. And I think Reining, just thinking about this poem, you've got to look it up because it's amazing. Reining is absolutely filling my dash up. It's amazing.
Yes, it is, and it's the sport and the people that's around that sport that makes it so enjoyable for me, and we're just ever so grateful.
Absolutely. Rod, thank you so much for joining us on In the Spin. It's been fabulous to have you, and have a good rest of your show, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Mel, thank you, and before we go, I'd just like to thank you guys, all the Victorians, South Australia, New South Wales, far north Queensland, all of these people that have travelled such long distances to be here. I know I speak on behalf of Calliope Sliders. We're just so grateful that you have made that journey and made this show the success that it is.
Fantastic. Thanks, Rod.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.